Okay. So this is The Grass is Greener on WXRW 104.1 FM in Milwaukee. I am the host of the program, Gary Grass. Oh, and with me is my co-host, Rebecca No. Almost forgot about her. All right.
Oh, dear. Tonight we have a special program. It's a little treat, something beyond our usual chit-chat and discussion. We'll have a little bit of that as well. But we're going to have a special tonight. It is a preview of the Eyes on Gaza, which is a concert dealing with Gaza. And our guest is Korean-American local musician Jane Han, who is classically trained on violin and piano, but she enjoys playing hip-hop most, as so she tells me. While she is not a native of Milwaukee, she loves the city, especially for its socialist history and legacy, and I have to agree on that. She has an MA in language topology with philosophy and psychology, minors from Mainz, Germany in 2012. And apart from music, she enjoys working with special needs children, especially with autism spectrum diagnosis. Her immediate family consists of her dog Saul, her cat Joe, and herself. So welcome, Jane Han.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much.
Okay. Just say that again, just so.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure because it's when more than one was talking. I can't hear the green. I don't know. This is local radio, so it's I think we jumped in a couple seconds late because they were still talking in Studio B over there. So it's just but yeah, I guess we're here to talk about the fundraiser. So I guess kind of the standard question is so how did this whole thing begin? What inspired you? How did this come about? Who? You just had the idea one day to do a fundraiser, or is that?
Well, we can probably go back to near the end of September of last year, because I have to say I was one of the Americans who was not paying attention to what was going on in the Middle East. Sort of typical, very atheist, liberal, intellectual upbringing, kind of really along those lines, and then I kind of was inspired when I started watching the videos coming out of Gaza.
Right.
Personally, really affected, and it actually also sparked a personal sort of religious journey as well.
Okay.
After 39 years of atheism.
All right. Well, that's interesting.
Yes.
I haven't started that myself, but that's fine. We had a fair number of people here who were religiously motivated to do various peace and anti-war activities. We had like Bob Groff come here, who's one of the original Milwaukee. How many?
Oh, I don't know.
One of the guys that broke in and burned all the A1 draft cards. Back
in the Vietnam era.
Yeah. So there's a really strong, good tradition of that, which we embrace here, and so we can appreciate that. So if what is the
I'll just tell the story.
That's fine. That's fine.
So I started watching what was going on in Gaza the end of September-ish of last year, and then came into contact with a lot of the families and individuals that need help. And at that point, I was trying to, because I'm not financially very well off, so I'm trying to find people who would be willing to. Right. We're all struggling, and then I started to sort of motivate people to donate, I started looking more at what the journalists were sending out, because here's what's, so you see what's happening, and sort of over the course of a few months, I came into contact with this specific journalist. His name is Momin Abu-Oda, and he is from that area, Beit Hanun, which is the northernmost part of Gaza.
Right.
It was also just completely destroyed in the 15-month siege. They have, I mean, other parts of the strip still have little,
Yeah. I mean, you get these statistics like 97% of the buildings are damaged or totally destroyed. And you see these satellite pictures where like there's just nothing left. But it's like, well, that means there's 3% still there. So it's like it's I mean, no hospitals or universities left, right? They made sure to get all those, right? But
it's pretty catastrophic. But I mean, to see them working now on the rebuilding and the reconstruction is also very inspiring. Really, I mean, it's just incredibly inspiring to watch the Palestinians, specifically the Gazans now after what they've been through the year and a half, to see how they cope. First with the aggression and now with the rebuilding.
Yeah.
My understanding is that, I don't know if it was this time, but I know that in 2006 there was the Israelis do this periodic attacks on Gaza, and
the mowing of the lawn.
Mowing of the lawn, that's what I was looking for. And in 2006 they hit the water supply system. And so shortly after that, I think in 2007, the water supply system started being affected by sewage. And so I don't know if the same thing has happened this time, if that had been repaired. I assume it had been repaired, because
I know in some places they brought in engineers to show them how to sabotage all the water refinement systems.
Oh,
I mean, it's been a very deliberate. I mean, they've been stealing water for ages, right? I mean,
it's right near.
During the encampments, they had these like teachings about how we have a local water authority here that's involved in it has it participates in these Israeli projects too, where the Gaza has been deprived of so much water, like way below UN standards for like even emergency relief, whereas they're filling up their swimming pools and watering their lawns and things. And it's just it's just.
There's a big settlement, Sderot, I don't know how to say it, Sderot, in Israel on the other side of Beit Hanun. And Beit Hanun is on a stream, or near a stream, Nahal Hanun. That's all I know.
That's honestly, actually, that's more than I knew.
I was looking things up on the internet this afternoon.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. I do have to give the disclaimer that as a musician, I don't really have as many of the historical sort of facts and numbers that would be good for probably a radio show and stuff.
Well, it's okay. We have experts that we bring on for that. We talk to a lot of people, and so we get different perspectives from different people, and that's part of what makes it interesting, right? We get your perspective. We get Isan Atta coming in. We get Rachel Ida Buff coming in. We get all the different type of aspects from different people. Dan Kovalik when he was in the region. So I mean, there's a that's fine. We're happy to have you. It's like
I'm so happy to.
And well, Dan Kovalik does play the guitar a little, but I do not know that our other guests are musically inclined. So and we did not have Dan perform for us. So
I'm also not. I'm pretty shy. So this is my first time speaking on the radio. And
we
like,
have you on
into the
public display here in the window front.
Yeah, I'm trying to
The
not
storefront
think
window.
about that.
We have had people like come by because there's a little speaker outside the outside there where it's broadcast to just the people walking up and down the street. And every once in a while we get someone who like will give us the thumbs up or will moon us or something. So it's like
River West.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right.
So I'll watch behind you in case anyone comes up and moons you from behind. I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good.
So
So getting back to this, you were seeing this on the news or on the internet, and something provoked you to get involved with it. It was this report.
It was well, no. I mean, I think I was already invested in trying to find money for Gaza or for the individuals there from the beginning, from like the beginning of October, so it's been a quest to find money for Gaza since then, 4 or 5 months. And then just trying to find ways that'll work. So one of the reasons I started watching, this was all on Instagram, one of the reasons I started watching the journalists more intensively was as a strategy to get more funds from people on the street. So, and then I became more acquainted with him, and he was the person that I went to when I thought about trying to fundraise on a more broad level rather than for specific individuals. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, you do see all these appeals. If you're on like Twitter and you follow some of these people, it's like people that have a lot to say on this, right? Who regularly tweet about what's going on down there and have a geopolitical perspective or just a personal perspective on this. They all have like families that they've met down there, or that they know that have like GoFundMe pages, and they'll direct you to like, please help my friend so and so who's and one of the things that I think is interesting about this project, right, is that you are seeking to build infrastructure, and there's this kind of tension because so much of the fundraising is to help people survive by escaping, right? Self-deport and and it's like you're contributing to the ethnic cleansing of the region, but you're also just helping save someone's life. So it's like people need to escape, they need to escape. On the other hand, building infrastructure is building up something there, which is good, but it's also cause a danger that Israel will just come and destroy it once it's built. So it's like it's I don't want to be a downer here, but it's like this is just a bad situation. It's like anything that you do faces some sort of drawback or risk, but it's still, you need to do something, right?
Well, it's what can be more life-giving though than water,
Right. Well,
and I think that is really the difficulty. Let me also put in a disclaimer that my perspective is really just a very emotional one. Very emotional. So I don't really have the numbers, but I do cry every day about this, and I feel like I added in the background for me that my parents are from Korea, so I am also a displaced. So that is part of the emotion for me.
So you can really understand what they're going through.
I don't think I can. No, I can't. Not as an American. Not. But I have had glimpses of Korean families that were separated. Brothers and sisters were separated arbitrarily by colonial powers, and then spent the rest of their lives not knowing what happened to their families, or maybe they could see each other for a few hours every 10, 15 years or something. So that emotional part, I think, is part of this. Like you said, I mean, Israel is out to ethnically cleanse the area, and so trying to build infrastructure does seem like a futile, or almost futile. But
well, I mean, it's not futile. It's something that, if you can build it and run it for a while, you have something, right? And it is never a wrong thing to do, to try in these circumstances. And you don't know before you begin, whether this well will somehow last for the next 100 years, or whether Israel will make it one of their chief targets to destroy. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen, but you have to try, right? I mean, the alternative of sitting down and doing nothing when people are there and asking for help. And look, I mean, I trust the people in the region, right? If someone says they need to leave, then they need to leave. If someone says they need to build a well, then build a well, right? I think it's important to listen to the voices on the ground that ask for what they are asking for, and to help them, and to not try to impose some sort of agenda onto them from outside.
Right.
So.
And that was actually also, it wasn't like my idea to come up.
Yeah.
So I was talking with journalist Aboda, and we were just trying to come up with different fundraising projects. And then he mentioned how they're already building wells in different camps. In Beit Hanun, they've already begun building one. So this would be another one. I mean, it really is unbelievably inspiring to see how they're already getting back to work to rebuild. They're already going back to school. The kids are going to school in Gaza.
Oh, wow. I wonder where.
Right?
Yeah.
But I have photos, on Instagram. There's
I mean, it's all you need for a school is someone to teach, someone to learn, and someone to not be bombing you. So yeah, I can see. I mean, having seen, all the teach-ins at the encampments, right? You can teach in a tent, right? You never stop teaching, right? Even when you're pulling your kids, behind you, trying to escape, you're still giving them lessons as you go. So, so that seems very reasonable to me, and. I mean, it's just, I think you're right. I think the world who can watch this and get a lesson from this about, the capacity of people to be completely evil, and the capacity of people to be completely resilient on the other side. And maybe completely is the wrong word, but something, I mean, people do break eventually, but there is this inspiration from seeing people resisting and not just giving up and going to die, right? And that's
Koreans, extremely proud people. When you go, they are so proud of their culture and their history, and I feel that with the Palestinians too. They have an incredibly long culture and history. And resistance is not just a 20th century. I mean, human resistance is certainly something that's been going on for as long as humans have been around. And I feel like this is just, this is just history. This is just humans being in history. So we also have the choice to look or look away, to do something or to not do something.
You have to say, what are you going to do? And everyone has to make that choice, whether they're going to pay attention or just pay no attention and get on with their own lives. But then it's like, saying, what would you have done during the time of the Holocaust? What would you have done? Well, chances are you can tell what you would have done, because right now, what are you doing? And everyone should ask that. I mean, it may not be as dramatic as that. It may not be, you may not be as close to it as that. But
What are your kids going to say 20 years from now when
Yeah.
they see these TikToks? And they're still floating around the internet. And nothing on the internet ever disappears. They can try to suppress it, but it's like these are part of history, and it's like all of this. I mean, it's just so. It is nuts that there would be a genocide in our times that would just be live streamed, where everyone would just be. It would all be coming out, right? And it's all going online, and there's this huge archive of all sides of this too. I mean, you have people that are like documenting the atrocities, and you have people that are from both sides, right? Israelis are proud to be running around and bragging about the atrocities they've just committed, and people who are the victims and survivors of these atrocities, putting together their videos on the other side, documenting all the crimes, and yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's so much that could be said on a technical level about this, but yeah, I mean, I think it makes perfect sense to relate to this on an emotional level, because it's like, if you don't have that, right? If you can't feel, if this is just a textbook exercise for you, then you're missing everything, and it's just. I mean, I very, very much respect your emotion about this. I mean, it's very easy for people to dissociate from this and rationalize and go through all sorts of denial and all sorts of different responses. And we know people that are committed to the other side, or just in this propaganda bubble, and are just unbelievable. And but I mean, that's take your time. Take your time.
Grab some tissues.
we should have gotten some tissues before we started. So
I did want to mention a few other things, as long as we have the chance. A few other things about Beit Hanun. It's a place that's been famous for quite a long time. There was a victory over the local people had a victory over the Crusaders in 1239. It became a part of the Ottoman Empire in 1517. In 1945, there were the population there was 1,680 Muslims and 50 Jews. And I already mentioned about the. I didn't mention that shortly after that there was a big influx of people from the Nakba. But I did mention the bombing in 2006 that damaged some of the water supply. And what I didn't mention was that Archbishop Desmond Tutu came to investigate that bombing and that attack on Gaza in 2006, and he did a report that designated it a war crime.
So I mean, I don't want to say nothing is new here. I guess there is nothing is new under the sun, but we are seeing things that in this case that are unprecedented, but at the same time all prefigured, right? It's things that are new in different ways, but there is something in the past that is a foreshadowing of all of this, right? So So I mean, we were. I don't know if you have other things you want to get off your chest, or I don't know how much time you want to spend performing today. It's.
I'm happy to.
We're kind of figuring this out on the fly here. You do a good grito, by the way.
I do what?
You should go to protest.
When I get really excited, I get really excited. I did want to, if it's okay, just read something.
Yes.
That the journalist moment wrote.
Oh, you're very polite to ask permission. Our guests don't always do that.
Okay, so this is talking about life in the tent. The plight of tent dwellers, whether nomads, refugees, or any group living in tents, reflects a difficult and challenging reality. They face harsh living conditions, especially in the harsh winter and scorching summer, when tents lack adequate insulation from cold or heat. They also suffer from a lack of basic resources such as clean water, healthcare, and education, making their lives more difficult than those living in settled cities and villages. In the context of asylum, tent dwellers are those who were forced to leave their homelands due to wars or economic crises, finding themselves in temporary places that lack stability and security. Their dreams of returning to their homes or having a more stable life remain suspended. And there's people who have been living in tents since it started in 2023.
And now the problem is that a lot of people don't even have the tents because they were pushed all the way down to the south. They had some tents there, but when they came walking back north, they didn't bring all of the tents and everything with them, and that would be a lot to carry. And the tents were supposed to be, new tents were supposed to be brought in, allowed in by Israel. Those have not been allowed in, and or very few have. And none of the trailers that were supposed to be allowed in for families have come. So it's a real problem. Today I heard on Democracy Now! That 3 children froze to death because it is winter there.
And this is going out live on February 25th, 2025. So just.
I think the count is up to 6.
6, wow.
I also have, if you, there's a relatively famous American, what am I saying? She's an American ER doctor who went on a medical mission to Gaza, and now she's amazing. She's all over social media, all over the news, just trumpeting about how Gaza needs help. And she put out a little video clip today. At least 6 babies have died from the cold in Gaza as Israel continues to block critical aid, including the 60,000 mobile homes and the 200,000 tents promised under the ceasefire deal. A severe shortage of basic supplies, tents, blankets, and heating devices has left families exposed to freezing temperatures, with nearly the entire population displaced by relentless U.S.-Israeli bombardment. Hospitals are now reporting a surge in cases of severe cold exposure. In Gaza City, 9 children were brought in suffering from hypothermia. 5 have already died, 3 within hours of arrival and 2 earlier this morning.
So tragic.
Oops.
The ceasefire agreement continues to be violated by the Israeli military, and the healthcare system pays the price. Where I worked at Nasser Hospital, pediatric ICU Dr. Al-Farah sent me a message this morning as the situation continues to escalate. At least 6 newborn babies have died overnight due to the cold temperatures in the tents. The promised 60,000 mobile homes and 200,000 tents needed are being blocked from entering Gaza by the Israeli military. As a result, babies and small children continue to pay the price. 40-day-old baby Yusuf Najjar is in critical condition after frostbite injuries. 2-month-old baby Sham Mubari, a baby girl, has succumbed to the cold temperatures and came in dead overnight. In the north, in Gaza City, the hospital is barely functioning to provide the care that the babies need because the medical equipment was destroyed by the Israeli military. There are at least 3 to 5 cases of newborn babies that have died there as well. I am overwhelmed
Okay. That's okay. Dr. Mimi Syed. Yeah, there was another woman who's also very, very good. I thought you might have been talking about her, but that's not the one I was thinking of. But yeah, no, there's yeah. I mean, you get all these. It's like one heartbreaking story after another, and it's like, I mean, there's. I worry about the danger of people just being emotionally overloaded by so many of these like tales again and again, and just like losing interest because compassion fatigue. It's a thing.
And this is why we look at hard things and then we use art to cope.
Yeah.
And I did notice, so last summer or last whatever, November-ish, October, November, because I do like to busk, I do have some experience playing on the street, and I would take this poster board has, so I use, it's been through some stuff, so I'll take the poster board and then play, and in Chicago one afternoon with my poster board, I got like $70 of donation. So like people, and they were looking at the, it was it was clear that it was a pro-Palestinian thing, and people are supportive. I went to the Kamala Harris rally in Madison, and I played. The Secret Service kicked me out.
Wow.
They sent the local security who specified that it was a Secret Service, but even there, people came and gave me a couple bucks. Like I feel like there are people who aren't vocal but supportive.
Yeah, and there's definitely a large group of people like that. Yeah. I mean, I get that sense as well.
And I like the idea of trying to get attention with music, because because there is a lot of like anger that I feel about what's going on. But I know that I'm not effective when I'm expressing my anger. So I'm not going to be able to communicate. I'm not going to be able to reach anyone. So this is,
Well, I think a lot of people share your anger, though. I mean, I'm not sure that it's completely ineffective. I mean, I think I think I've said this at least once before on the show, that it's like whenever someone does something, it's a little bit more pressure on everyone else to do something too, right? I mean, it's like every little pebble grows, right? So I mean, I don't feel like I'm doing nearly enough. I don't feel like most people are doing nearly enough, but I think I would do more if they did more, and I think maybe if I do more, then they'll do more. So it's like, I think there's a I appreciate that you're doing something, because I think that it won't be just you, that there is this multiplier effect, right? There's anything that you do will inspire someone else to do something, and that'll inspire someone else to do something. It's just, I mean, it's clearly it has not been enough so far, right? But it is good to see any action at all on this.
And I think art is a good way to reach people. It touches them in a different way.
And I think art is really, I've been thinking about what it means to be an artist for a very long time, and my personal definition now really has a lot to do with just yourself. So we can't really, I personally don't think we create anything new. These are all just patterns that we rearrange, but we can create ourselves and our universes, and that's what art is. It's through the expression of the self, the and that has a lot to do with emotion. This art, self, humanity, emotion thing. I feel like it is, because you look at hard things, that's going to bring up a lot of hard emotions.
Right. I mean, it's just a mode of expression, right? And whenever you express yourself, there's a chance that you will accidentally communicate to somebody, I'm getting the grito again.
And the thing is, it's not, it would be great if I inspire others, but I get so inspired by, the random people that talk to me. when I'm playing, or on the bus, because I don't have a car, so I carry my stuff sometimes when I'm on the bus, and then I'll have these amazing random
So
conversations.
people will see you and they'll just, out of the blue, just start
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a big sign that says "Free Dr.
Hussam Abu
Hussam
Safia.
Hussam Abu Safia," and it's like that's quite a conversation starter.
You gotta look at.
U.S.
This is
Israel, real ceasefire in Gaza, West Bank.
with the
Now,
this-
Picture of a baby.
permanent.
Yeah.
has passed.
Wow.
So this is a palatable, I would say relatively palatable, because you can't even tell from far away.
Right.
But this is what we're doing, or genocide targeting women and children. They target the children. They maim the children. Oh my gosh, I can't even. But yeah, and it's great. Just people will also just randomly say like, "I agree with you," and I'm like, "Yes, good job."
Yeah, no, I mean it's like I was I saw someone just wearing a keffiyeh at the supermarket the other day, and I was like, yeah, go, good for you,
I was having this friend with a Palestinian American friend of mine, and he's like, wow, now people aren't. Or we were talking about immigrant kids. Yeah, being an immigrant kid, nobody. Chinese, Japanese, nobody knew what Korea was. Nobody knew what Palestine was, so they all thought he was from Pakistan. And I'm like, immigrant kid problems. And he was like, yeah. But now everybody knows. Not everybody, but like a lot more people know about,
Right. A lot more people know about Palestine. They probably hadn't heard of it much before.
Which, I mean, for some of us who have heard about it for decades, it's
Right.
kind of astonishing. But it I mean, I see that as one of these kind of like, I guess, older people. I mean, but it's like things that are just obvious to me, right? That everyone knows about this. Like, well, everyone did know about it. Wait 5 years and half those people don't know about it anymore. And you've got new people coming up that have never heard of any of this. And it's like, over time, unless there's something like new to refresh it, it's like all these things just sort of kind of fade into history. So it's like, I mean, I know about all the stuff in Central America in the 1980s, and it's like, but that's like completely unknown alien stuff to a lot of people now. I mean, in the 80s, it was like everyone knew that this was going on, right? There was a lot of, activity around it. I mean, the anti-apartheid movement, for South Africa, it's like nowadays, it's like so many people, it's like that is just kind of like, what? Because that was then and this is now. And so you're seeing this entire generation now just sort of wake up and discover the Israel-Palestine quote-unquote conflict, right? And they're seeing it all now for the first time without having everything filtered through Israeli Hezbollah propaganda. They're getting it straight from like the field, and it's like it is just ugly and brutal and on the other side just heartbreaking and inspiring. And it's but they're not getting it all through the standard mainstream. It's like this is it is a new thing. And we've seen this is like just a sort of a revolution inside the Jewish community where there's been just, I remember, it seemed, I don't know what it was, but it seemed so rock solid back, decades ago. And now it's like you've got so many people that are on the Jewish Voice for Peace side that are coming out. I mean, it's like, and people saying it's like, this is not what I thought never again meant, right? I mean, I didn't think you were saying next time we're going to be the ones doing it. I think you just meant it should never happen anymore. So it's you know, there's a lot of people that are on our side, and it's a lot of them are taking, risks to bring these things out. I mean, well, we were just seeing things tweeting about Max Blumenthal being like taken aside at an airport, and it's like we've seen things about Scott Rear being taken aside, Dan Kovalik being taken aside, all these people that are like, oh yeah, well whenever I travel abroad, I always get get hassled by people from the Secret Service, and it's like. And there's people being arrested in various countries, people being sent back unable to speak. I mean, people that just, Yanis Varoufakis or, any of these people that, just are coming to give some sort of talk. Ilan Pape is going to give a talk. This person's going to give a talk, right? And it's like, and they wind up being arrested and suspicion of terrorism, and they get released a few days later, or they don't get released a few days later. So there's a certain degree of risk. Just taking positions that polls say half the people agree with, right? But if you're really outspoken and you're someone that they want to target, there's a certain amount of courage. People that take a really high profile on these topics and speak out. So there's a lot to admire in terms of the people that do speak out, and there's a lot to like really shake your heads at or shake your fists at, and what's happening with some of these other people that are not speaking out, that are not where are our elected representatives on this? I mean, we've got Ryan Clancy locally. I mean, he's good, but I mean, where is Gwen Moore, right? Where are our senators? I mean, they're all like.
I did the calls for the JRD, the Bernie Sanders one. Cried so hard. Interestingly, Tammy Baldwin's office never talked to me, but
Ron Johnson.
Yes.
Ron,
every time
we've had that.
They listen to me cry for 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. We've had that experience too.
Yeah.
I mean, Ron Johnson will sit and give us an audience, right? He'll listen to us, right? And then he'll go off and do whatever he's going to do, right? But he is respectful of his constituents that way, and he has much better constituent service than Tammy Baldwin does. Tammy Baldwin is just.
We were shocked that when I was concerned about the journalist Gonzalo Lira, who was arrested in Ukraine, and we were trying to get him out. Ron Johnson's office was the only one that we could get to pay any attention. I mean, ultimately, it was not of any use. Gonzalo Lira died in prison, but.
And this is an American citizen that the State Department could have gotten out easily, and they just let him die. He warned that this was going to happen to them, and the writing was sort of on the wall, and there was like a little effort. I mean, and he was a very problematic individual in a lot of ways, but I don't think American journalists should be, killed in foreign countries for reporting the truth about things. I mean, come on.
Journalists generally shouldn't be.
Let me just bring this back to Palestine and to Gaza. And ask if there's any other things you wanted to say, or if you wanted to begin the concert preview.
One thing that our guests never realize is how fast time flies once you start talking. So it's like,
I was worried about filling up an hour, and now I'm like, oh, now there's not enough time. I would just officially like to say that everyone is invited this Friday evening at 7 p.m. I'll just start playing.
You do that, and I will tell everyone where it's at. It's Friday, February 28th at 7 p.m. at Sanctuary Hall at the Calvary, 735 West Wisconsin Avenue. It's a pay what you will. All proceeds go to the city of Beit Hanun's project to construct a well for water. And so that's what it is.
That's one of the best uses for a well.
Yeah, yes. It's said to be an evening Join us for an evening of reflection, learning, presence, music, and love.
All right. All right.
So what I did in Chicago, or what I do around Milwaukee too, a lot on Brady Street, is I will ask for
we're hearing you kind of like, we're kind of like, your mic is up there and you're talking down. But
Yes.
we could hear a little bit of that. So.
So I'll play a song on my Bluetooth speaker, and I'll improvise to it on the violin, and I will. Maybe I'll do one, and then I would be happy to take one request from each of you. You can think of a favorite song for me to play while I play this first song.
All right. Oh,
Okay. I will also give you.
let's see.
Okay, sorry.
Violins are beautiful instruments, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's not. Too much. Okay. All right.
We are also in a very tight spot here.
Okay. I would like to try. I have not. So I've been starting to listen to some Arabic music.
Well, that is cool, because that's what I was going to ask. If you had any Palestinian songs or songs from the Mideast.
This is about Gaza. So
Excellent.
we have Gaza in the this is actually a song that you'll see sometimes on like the Instagram posts. They'll add this song to the post.
لو مرة بس تغفي بروحي المتعبة، لو مرة بس يرتاح لي بأرضك خفا، لو مرة بس ترتاحي من بطش العدا، لو مرة بس تفتاكي بغلى مبتلى، كنتي ولا زلتي يا غزتي يا نمرتي، قالوا من دموعك وانا بكرت الحزن اللي بخاطري، إذا بعد اتبعت خصمك الروح التي فاضت عذاب جرحك وطالت كل مليك المعتدي، يا دمعنا بعيني أفرح يوم الدمع لما نزح ضلت ضحى ضلت شهيد حتى الفرح قلبه جرح لما الحزن بالعشق يجوز كيف الحزن يا غزنا بروحي معاكي ولو ملاك الدنيا جنة من وجع بحرك يا روح الروح وجعنا احنا نسقط ان سقطت ولن تسقط لا ولن نسقط ما دمنا باقونا صبا كنهر الغير يا غزنا بروحي معاكي ولو ملاك الدنيا جنة من وجع بحرك يا روح الروح وجعنا احنا نسقط ان سقطت ولن تسقط لا ولن نسقط ما دمنا باقونا صبا كنهر الغير مبشع الدموع لما العجز يكون نصيب وسكوت يحتل كل حواسك وهموم مستني دفا لكن هاي نار بتحرق البيوت تخطف منك مستقبلك امك وابوك وكل اللي بتحبهم وبيحبوك ما سألوك مش بدك بفهمك هيك مخلوق لونك مخطوط قدر مكتوب مستني الحارة بتقول شايلها منك مكروه مسكوب وانا اخوك يا غزنا بروحي معاكي ولو بلاكي الدنيا جنة من وجع
Well,
Lovely.
yeah, no, I wish our radio listeners could see the intensity in your face when you perform that. I mean, it's I was kind of looking down at the display here and trying to make sure it wasn't going to be like way too loud. And I don't know. I hope I didn't like mess up the levels too badly. But I look back up and you're just yeah. So.
Sometimes I look at the videos of me playing.
Oh, you're not talking to the mic right now.
No, it's not. Song request. Do either of you have a song request?
You know any Victor
Anything.
Hara?
What's the song?
I don't know. Puerto Montt.
Any
What would you like?
She wants to hear "Gangsta's Paradise" by Coolio.
I just wanted to. Yeah, I just like give me a surprise. Something I don't know.
Puerto Montt. Victor Hara.
yeah.
How do you spell?
The artist is Victor Jara, Jara,
Right.
and it's Puerto, Puerto, Montt, Montt.
Right.
Preguntas por Puerto Montt?
Sí.
Sí. Oh my goodness.
Muy bien, voy a preguntar por ti, por aquel, por ti que quedaste solo y el que murió sin saber. Muy bien, voy a preguntar por ti, por aquel, por ti que quedaste solo y el que murió sin saber, que murió sin saber. Murió sin saber por qué le acribillaban el pecho, luchando por el derecho y un sueño para vivir. Hay que ser más infeliz, el que mando disparar, sabiendo cómo evitar una matanza candil. Puerto Mono, 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 Puerto Mono. Usted debe responder, señor Pérez Zukovich, porque al pueblo indefenso contestaron con fusil. Señor Pérez, su conciencia la enterró en un ataúd y no limpiarán sus manos toda la lluvia del sur, toda la lluvia del sur. Murió sin saber por qué, le acribillaban el pecho, luchando por el derecho y un suelo para vivir. Hay que ser más infeliz, el que mandó disparar, sabiendo cómo evitar una matanza candil. Puerto Mono, 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 Puerto Mono.
That was about a massacre.
That was incredibly challenging. Could we do something slightly more?
Do whatever you wish.
This is.
We have almost just exactly the amount of time left to do for you to do a rendition of 4 minutes and 35 seconds.
Sorry.
Just kidding. It would be a waste. It would be a waste. It can be performed on any instrument. John Cage said so.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I've never performed it.
But it would be a waste of your talents to do it on air. I really think it would.
On
So,
air, probably.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess. All right.
Well, you could improvise to it.
Oh my gosh.
Do whatever you wish.
I I will do a song called Enough by Amala.
Okay.
All right.
To all the souls who can't be named, I hear your passion, feel your pain. So many people stand from one. Together we shall overcome. If now is already too much, why isn't now enough? Another win for sacrifice, another day, another trial. I'd rather have my mother's life, another moment left to time. Now is already too much. Why isn't now enough? Why isn't I know the road's been long, lifted in the cross of redemption. With the spirit of my generation, I am someone. Now is already too much. Why is it now Why isn't now?
Oh, hey. We're actually getting the. I thought I had turned it off, but we're actually getting the outgoing theme music that comes at the very end.
Well, we want to thank you, Jane Han, for joining us and for giving us this treat.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you so much.
It was a delight. Thank you.